After wrapping up some upgrades, I was dead keen to get the new TVAN out. So a shakedown trip was organised to test the new rig. Sundown National Park is a favourite, so I headed there with the TVAN, knowing that towing over its steep rocky trails would be a good test for both the trailer and the Landcruiser. The track starts climbing soon after entering the park, so it's low range most of the way. I dropped tyre pressures to 20 psi all round to protect the tyres from cuts while giving better grip and comfort. Tin, copper and arsenic mining was undertaken in the late 1800s, and many old shafts remain through the area, though most are now barricaded to prevent entry. Eventually, the track levels off onto a ridge line with spectacular views in all directions. With the sun sinking fast, I headed to my camp for the night at Burroughs Waterhole, which meant a downhill run to reach the Severn River. After dusting down the rig, I set the TVAN up in the quick entry configuration, using the insect screen across the bed area rather than setting up the whole tent. "3 minutes from parking the rig to having a bed ready isn't too bad." Morning guys. Well, this is Burroughs Waterhole camping ground at Sundown National Park. It's the biggest of the campgrounds and in my view the prettiest. You're down by a creek and there's some beautiful little parrots which I don't know the name of. You can just see one. There they go. Some beautiful little birds here, and yeah, there's a group way down the other end, but you can see it's quite a big campground and there's plenty of fire pits, so it obviously attracts large groups at times. There's a couple of drop toilets. It's a little windy this morning, and even though it's September, it got down to 3 degrees, which is quite cool. But yeah, this is Burroughs Waterhole. Yeah, there are Australian eastern cod or Murray cod in the Severn River on which this waterhole sits, but I didn't bring my fishing rod. I forgot it. After exploring western end of the park, I head down to Reedy Waterhole camping area, which is accessed down a steep and rutted trail. When descending steep trails like this, I change the trailer's brake controller from proportional mode to manual, which keeps the trailer well anchored behind the tow vehicle and allows more steering control on the loose gravel surface. Come across the Reedy campground, Reedy Creek, Reedy Waterhole. Come across to the other campgrounds. We've got a few options here. Big wide open areas up on the higher ground. It might be a bit windy and cool tonight. See small stockyards there, or sheep yards. To the right, just peters out and goes down to a little one-way track in the creek bed, which is going to be too tight to turn the car and trailer around. I'm going to take this one down here to the left. There's a little loop at the end of it, nice little secluded spot by the creek. So we'll try and get in there and set up camp. Much of the Sundown area was sheep grazing land, and many of the old fences and yards remain, especially around permanent waterholes like Reedy's. The granite country through which the river has carved its trail makes for some dramatic landscapes, especially as the sun dips below the ridgeline. Couple for tomorrow. And some for tonight. Alrighty. Dinner is served. The approach of evening chill reminds me to get dinner on the go. Then, after watching some bush TV, I head to the cosy TVAN bed for an early night. Another cold morning made me glad to have the full tent set up this time. But I was soon packed and back on the trail. climb out of Reedy's Waterhole with the trailer would be difficult in wet weather, but the Landcruiser managed it easily today. Before long, we were back on the narrow rocky ridges, heading along the trails out of the national park. Before leaving, I took the time to head up to check out Rock Gorge with its spectacular lookout that puts you up amongst the soaring falcons and eagles. You can camp near here, but it's not as appealing as the places down along the river. After bumping and grinding for several hours, I dropped down to the National Park entry gate, air up the tyres and head for home. Thanks for coming along for the ride. Subscribe to the channel so I can see you again on our next adventure.